Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Fun reviews that get no views, gives me the blues. Very nice. Now we be insanity, no reality. Very nice. Sweet and sour, this is our little mess. Very nice. There's no very nice. It's time for very nice.
Hi kids, it's me, Very Nice.
And me, Piglet.
And welcome back to part 2 of our Doctor Who video concerning why the 7th Doctor era Classic Doctor Who is the best part of Classic Doctor Who.
That's right. So we made a first video.
Yeah.
Probably go watch that.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that yet, why don't you go watch it.
First one, we more or less diagnosed and talked about the episodes and what they were about. But we're gonna start this one out by talking about a more specific topic, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Sylvester.
The man himself. Alright, let's get going.
So, in order to properly digest the Sylvester era, we actually have to talk about Sylvester himself as well.
We didn't actually do that a lot in the first part, so we should probably do that now. So, I feel Sylvester is a pretty decent doctor.
Yeah.
His
Better than the
character-
old man, better than...
Well, better than who?
I don't know. I mean,
The War Doctor.
The War Doctor. Obviously, he doesn't just scream and make you laugh and, and cry a lot.
He changes. He develops. A lot of people don't think Sylvester and Peter Davison have any development, but I think Sylvester actually does.
And Colin Baker.
Yeah.
People don't like the 80s Doctor. This video could have been made for just 80s Doctor Who in general, but maybe you'll get to that eventually. But people think they're oh, they don't have any development, or it's just rushed. And I mean, are you saying that the old man has development?
The first Doctor, you think he's got
He's
development?
just a grumpy jerk the whole time.
And so, the first season really kind of sets Sylvester off as he's not too serious. He's kind of just he's still
Jokey.
getting started.
Yeah,
he's just a jokey time. But unlike Jodie Whittaker, who still doesn't figure herself out for pretty much her whole first season, Sylvester kind of gets himself figured out and set on this path throughout the rest of the season. I'd say he spends time with Ronnie figuring him the basis of his character out.
Yeah.
Then he starts the rest of the season off as this kind of I don't want to say low-key, but a jokey kind of guy who's
serious, but he's not he's not
not War Doctor serious. But he's not Matt Smith jokey either.
Yeah, he's a nice medium. And then in the second season, he changes a bit more. He
Gets a bit more serious.
He's a bit less jokey, he's a bit more serious, he's a bit
more on topic, a bit more
scheming.
a bit more there,
conquering. He's always planning his enemies' demises before they happen. Manipulative.
like what he does with Davros and Scarl and Head of Omega.
And Cyberman.
Yes, and the Cyberman as well.
And pretty much everyone in the
Yeah.
season.
Why does this change? Well,
I don't really know. Maybe the writers just...
I guess maybe the plots get a little more intense, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe just after a little while, Sylvester just kind of.
Mind you, this is the 25th season, so they did for the 25th anniversary Doctor, they kind of wanted to bring it up a notch.
That could also be a region, and just perhaps the character himself just kind of gets pushed to a point where he's just done joking and done messing around, and if he's gotta win, he's gotta win, and whatever way he's gotta win, he's gonna take.
Yeah.
But that's definitely what Sylvester kind of turns into in the last season.
Yeah, in the last season,
he gets Battlefield.
He gets really violent. He no more jokes. Sure, he'll still be joking, but he's a lot more aggressive. He's to the point of decapitating people. He doesn't, but he does a lot more screaming, a lot more yelling, a lot more threatening. He keeps a lot more to himself. He's much more secretive, conniving, serious, yelling.
That's about it for now.
I'd say so. That's again, that's just to show that Sylvester is a dynamic character. He goes from kind of not silly, but kind of a little jokish, to more serious, to very serious.
Yeah.
And it shows change in character development.
Yeah.
Something that most of classic Doctor Who lacks.
Yeah. Alright,
So
I suppose let's get into the episodes now. Should we start with Remember to the Daleks?
Sure. So, the first serial of the 25th season Doctor Who, which is the 25th anniversary season, is Remembrance of the Daleks.
The last Dalek serial.
Now, Remembrance of the Daleks, I think a lot of people often confuse it for being the 25th anniversary, like, serial, but it's not. That's another one because it has, like, oh, it's got the school, and it's got the junkyard, and it's got the French Revolution book that Susan's holding in the first episode, but it's just got a bunch of connections. That's
Yeah.
It's just because it's not actually the serial.
So, being the last Dalek serial, I'd say it's a pretty good finale for
Probably
the
the
Daleks.
best Dalek serial there is.
A lot better than the Daleks,
Ooh.
or, what was the Tom Baker one called?
Power of the Daleks.
Power of the Daleks, Evil the... Well, they're gonna reanimate Evil the Daleks. I actually kind of want to see what that's gonna be like, but... So, yeah, it was Ace's first serial. Well, as a companion. Dragonfly doesn't really count because she's not really a
Full-time
companion, not traveler in the little blue box.
Yeah, so as they go back into, the 60s in England.
1963.
Yeah, 1963 in England, and the Daleks are here, and there's this local military that Sylvester meets
I
up
don't really know
with.
what this I don't know why it couldn't have been just like unit. It's just this military instead.
Unit didn't exist yet.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
the time, everyone who ever watched Doctor Who knows that, like, the times, like,
When unit was created.
makes no sense anyways. Anywho.
So this military is led by Group Captain Gilmore, this charming, handsome
Chunky
man who's extraordinarily similar to the Brigadier sometimes.
Yeah, he even has like a mustache like him. And there's the greedy scumbag. He's actually named Mike, Sergeant Mike, but we'll get to why we call him the greedy scumbag later. And so Sylvester and Ace meet up with them at the junkyard where they have a Dalek pinned down, and their thing is there are actually two factions of Daleks. There's
Just like in the Count Baker episodes.
Yeah.
What are those episodes called? Do you remember? I don't remember, but these are connected to that.
kind of, but these are way better, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Because
sure.
that one's only like a two-part, and the Dalek voices sound really bad. But, so, there are the two Dalek factions. There are the Renegade Daleks, and then there are the Imperial Daleks,
And they're
led by
fighting for
Davros.
control of the Hand of Omega.
And the Hand of Omega is this interstellar device that Rassilon and Omega, and I think even Sylvester had his hand in creating, that helped to, like, cause stars of supernova to fuel the TARDISes. And so, anywho, Omega's hand, it's not actually his hand, Sylvester put it in this coffin and he took it to
Well, Sylvester
Earth.
didn't blow
Yeah,
the old
not
man. The
Sylvester.
first
It was-
Doctor
yeah,
did
first
this when he
Doctor.
left Gallifrey. He did this, and so they also make a lot of connections with, like, the first Doctor being here and all of this stuff.
Oh, there's
so-
also this comics strip called Emperor of the Daleks, which acts as a sequel/prequel to this.
Yeah.
It's like Sylvester's future, but he's like sending the events from Emperor of the Daleks.
I honestly wouldn't really suggest it,
It's
but
pretty bad. And just him going around, Davros gets his Emperor. Yeah. He becomes Dalek Emperor of the Imperial Daleks, and like Sylvester just keeps dropping a bunch of hints to the Hand of Omega.
that's really about it.
Yeah, and then there's another comic in the collection where the old man says like, "Oh, I must do something with that Hand of Omega." You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So that does show it was the old man. But anywho, so the Daleks are fighting for the Hand of Omega, and Sylvester
And Ace have to, well, not necessarily stop them, but yeah, not really
Sylvester's plan is again showing his planning ahead sort of cheekiness.
destroy both the factions.
Yeah. He tricks the one Dalek faction into destroying the other so they can then take the Hand of Omega up to Davros, who then Sylvester tricks him into using it to destroy Scar, destroying the Daleks.
And then if Scarro's destroyed, I honestly don't know how this connects to Classic Doctor Who, because Scarro just comes back in, like,
Asylum of the Daleks.
Asylum of the Daleks.
But then again, Matt Smith and...
The Witch is familiar.
Then again, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi episodes make no sense, so...
Yeah, so... This serial, I'd say, the effects are pretty good. The Dalek laser effects aren't the greatest, but they're alright.
But the weird thing is, this is the only Sylvester serial where they actually have like a, this is one of the only episodes that actually have like a laser shooting effect. Like in Dragonfire they did, and kind of the Greatest of the Galaxy they do, but like
everything else is just sparks off guns.
I don't know why they just decided to make it a Dalek shoot, but anywho. They have an on-set Dalek landing craft, which is good. Instead of just having like a paint box it in, they actually have the full-scale model.
Yeah, and they actually do blow up a boatload of Dalek props. We don't know, a lot of the explosions they actually caused were pretty loud, broke a lot of glass.
Yeah, all the explosions are on set, which is good.
Yeah, the special weapons Dalek blows a lot of stuff up, blows the doors up, if you've heard of the classic mistake. They blow up the doors, but then it also damaged all the Dalek props, and all of the crew went on to see if they're alright.
And Doctor was like, "Stop, you can't do that! Get off the screen!"
We'd show it, but we could copyright and take it down because classic Doctor Who was so protected by copyright. That's why we're just showing all these screenshots.
Yes.
So, what makes this serial really good?
Well,
the plot's pretty good.
The plot's pretty good. It's 4 episodes, and it's
not too long.
Good.
1 or 2 points seem a little dragged out, where they could have shortened it up, but it's not too long.
The music's really good.
Yeah, the music's pretty good. Kef McCallick again, thankfully. Unfortunately, though, this is the point where he starts to do less and less episodes. He only does 2 serials out of the 4 in this one, and 1 serial out of the 4 in the last.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty good serial, I'd say.
The Dalek action's alright, and shooting at each other.
Yeah, I know the action sequence is a lot different in the novelization. I haven't read it, but I know the battle is completely different in the novelization.
They don't have the budget for that on the show.
No, they don't have the budget for that.
No, they don't have the budget for anything. There's a tiny bit of romance between Ace and Mike. But I mean, it's not like super pressed, and then she like completely drops it when she figures out that he's working with the Renegade Daleks, and because he works for the Association, which is this white supremacist group ran by this evil man named Mr. Ratcliffe. Not to be confused with Daniel Radcliffe, but
there's a lot of what's the word? There's a lot of like what's a good word for this? There's a lot of like anti-racial supremacy messages in this season, which is good. Like the Daleks, then there's like the civil nemesis. There's
Nazis and the skinheads.
Yeah, so they press that, which is those are good topics, I'd say. Are they extremely relevant? Not really, honestly. I honestly didn't.
Fiction, they aren't like super relevant in the stories, but they're good messages.
They're good little messages on the side to pick up on. I think. I think it's also kind of relevant because the Daleks think they're supreme, but they don't do a lot of like just screaming like you know what I mean, like the skinheads or someone. But
so.
Good little message on the side.
Again, some quick little anti-racial messages and themes in general are something that most of Classic Doctor Who completely lacked, along with like especially anti-racial messages.
I think.
What
episodes I've seen.
Yeah, but again, back to the romance. It's kind of there, but then Ace calls him a greedy scumbag, so...
That's why we call him the greedy scumbag.
That's always kind of funny.
Yeah, so in the end, Special tricks Davros, he destroys Skaro, and, well, it's a happy ending. He, tells the Black Dalek, the final, living renegade Dalek, the Dalek Supreme, that he's lost, and that Skaro's destroyed, and he just can't handle it, and he kills himself, dies.
Showing Sylvester's darker side. Then one of the only weird things about the serial is it ends with them going to this funeral, and I don't know who the funeral is for. It never says. I don't know who they would hold a funeral for. Mike was evil, Mr. Ratcliffe was evil, they're all villains, and they all died. I don't know why they would have a funeral for someone they don't like.
Yeah.
And that's really about it.
Yeah, I'd say so. A good way to start off the season, I think. Definitely a good way. It's always good to start and end the seasons of Doctor Who with a returning villain. Do they always do that? No. In fact, they honestly rarely do that. So, yeah, I'd say good Dalek serial. It ends with Davros escaping the Dalek mothership before he escapes. Also trying to set up things just like the Ronnie surviving at the end of Time the Ronnie, trying to set up more things for future episodes to come that never came.
They make an effort to show Davros escape. Like, the Daleks are literally, like, saying, like, oh, the escape pod's ready, the escape pod just left the mothership. Like, they're, like, literally telling you Davros is getting away.
Yep. So, can we move on now, Barry?
So, the second serial is the Happiness Patrol.
I'd say it's an alright serial, but it's the most forgettable of the season. Now, this is the serial with the infamous Candyman.
Yes,
we'll get to him
Candyman.
later. He's honestly not that important. This is the serial I remember the least from for some reason. I don't know why. It was a good serial. I just don't remember a lot from it.
Yeah, I feel like people think, oh, this serial is so bad because there's the Candyman. Well, actually, the Candyman isn't even in it very much.
No, he shows up the most in the first episode, then spends the whole second episode with his feet glued to the floor, and then finally in the third episode, he just shows up for like 2 scenes, then just dies.
Yeah, he's really not that impactful. People just remember him a lot.
These episodes are also more of the violent ones. People get
Yeah.
killed for not being happy,
Yeah.
tormented to death.
That's the whole plot.
With delicious hot candy. Yum.
Yeah, so the plot is Sylvester and Ace, they come to this human colony on this planet Terra Alpha that's run by this evil woman named Helene. And so...
And her pet, Fifi.
Yes, yes, Fifi, the infamous Fifi. Now, they have the laws that you have to be happy, and if you're not happy, then...
Well, there's this guy in it who plays the harmonica who helps Sylvester.
Yes.
Who was his name?
Earl Sigma.
Thank you, I don't remember. Because some of the music, this music in this is also...
Done by Dominic Glenn.
So it's not the greatest. Not as good
Unfortunately,
as
it's not done by
It's a
Cat.
little more creative adding the harmonica in there, but besides that, I didn't find anything else good about the music at all. So... Yeah, the Candyman, the infamous Candyman, if you didn't know, he's actually the executioner. I thought he was like the main villain, but actually no, he's not. And
He's just like the
this
side
robot who's man, and his job is to execute people using candy that's so delicious and really hot and
liquefied candy. They just drown people in candy.
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
buzz
terrible.
over the depths pretty quickly. PG, everyone. But I mean, it was still Sylvester and Ace arrive, and they meet some friends like Earl Sigma, and so they figure out the place is pretty corrupt, and they have to stop it. And of course, they get captured by the Candyman.
They nearly get executed, of course, and
But they just escape. And
they
then
glue his
Sylvester glues
feet
to the floor.
They glue him to the floor.
And they get away, and then they meet the little knobbly creatures that live under the ground.
Then Fifi is sent after them. So I don't honestly remember a lot about these episodes. Do you, Barry?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know, just for
the go-karts, the budget is really low budget. They literally just have go-karts that they ride around in.
yeah, that's a little bit cheap. The story's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sylvester
Creative.
doesn't get a lot of development as much like he does in Remembrance of Dogs in this
Yeah.
one. He kind of just stays like the same character throughout.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything like too intense or severe. That's probably why.
There's the snipers, and the scene with the snipers having a gunpoint, and he has to take them to stop the guns.
Yeah.
Down. That's pretty intense. Eventually, there's this one scene where Sylvester, he gets, this booklet of a bunch of pictures, and they're literally just a bunch of pictures of Helena and just Fifi in all these really weird positions.
Yeah, that's
So-
this episode has these episodes have a lot of more weird moments.
But
of
again,
anything else.
there's nothing wrong with
it's
it,
not bad
but
it's
people
weird.
just don't like weird. This is the type of weird that's good.
like strange, weird science fiction stuff. But
But people
unfortunately,
don't like that.
or at least people didn't. I know there was a group of people who lightened up on these episodes, but,
Yeah, but
I don't
many.
think not as many, unfortunately.
Yeah. So eventually,
It's called the Happiness Patrol because
there's this patrol.
they go around making sure you're happy, and if you're a killjoy, then
You're dead.
yeah.
And eventually, Sylvester and Ace, they get to the bottom of the system, and they Sylvester tricks the patrol that he's happy, so therefore they can't kill him because he's happy that he's happy. He reverse
Psychology.
engineers their system. That's another thing that he likes to do. So in the end, they win, and There's just one guy named Gilbert M. He's the man who made the Candyman. And there's this one scene where the Candyman is just screaming his name, and all I could think of was my music teacher during that scene because
From our middle school music
Her
teacher,
name
her
was
bad
also-
music school.
her name was also Miss Gilbert. Yeah.
So sometimes if you know certain things about certain names, that can bring down the intensity of some scenes.
Yes. The effects in this episode are alright.
Yeah, there's a lot of just more sparks. Guns of sparks.
Yeah, the scenes of like the spaceships and stuff, like there's the one scene at the end where the ship leaves the planet, and so the outward views like the planets in this season, like spaceships coming to and from it, aren't not that good.
No, they're not.
They really look horrible, especially seeing like, for example, like Star Wars, which came out over
10 years before this.
9
Yes.
9 years before this, and the effects look better than crap that comes out today.
And they used models for that.
Yeah, and they just use computers for this, but I mean, it's not their fault. They don't have a really big budget or anything.
Yeah, but I think they make the budget work with these episodes.
They have well, the thing about these episodes is the sets are pretty extravagant. They have quite a few sets.
Especially like back in Remembrance of the Daleks when they did have a low budget, but they were just still constantly blowing up all the Dalek props.
Like back when they made like Tom Baker, the old man, they had a low budget, but it was obvious that they had a low budget, and they didn't do anything with this low budget. They just
I don't honestly think it's extraordinarily low budget.
Yeah.
Well, it's obvious that it's low budget.
If someone were to sit down and watch this and they've never seen Doctor Who before, and I would ask them, "Do you think this show is a low budget?" Well, they have all these on-set effects and everything, and they have big extravagant sets, they have their blowing up props left and right, so I would say no.
Most of the time. However, sometimes you can see some of the guns don't look good.
Yeah.
Of course, they just do result with sparks, some effects.
Yeah.
So there are, when it's obvious that there's a low budget, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's also a little intense how Ace is to be executed.
Yeah.
But that's more or less just like the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Every single episode of Classic Doctor Who ends with a cliffhanger.
Unless it's a serial ender.
Yeah, so unfortunately, these cliffhangers do kind of get a little just drab and dull after a while. You know it's gonna be alright in the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah. So that's about it. There's this emotional scene at the end where like Helena finds Fifi's dead body, and that's pretty impactful. They try to do emotional moments sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they actually try to like develop something or like prove some sort of emotional message or something, anything that's better than like the old man or Tom Baker, because like there's never like a slow, sad, like impactful moment
that I've
like,
seen in those episodes.
Yeah, that I've seen in any of those.
I mean, we pretty much watched all of the first Doctor episodes, and there's nothing. And what Tom Baker I've seen, there hasn't really been
Anything.
any extreme like emotional scenes,
No.
really. Though the Fifi scene can be a little comical because it's Fifi. Fifi the creature.
Yeah, Fifi the little critter. Yeah, mind you, Fifi does a lot of scurrying around, and that kind of looks a little weird. Like, it's Fifi, run! I don't understand what they're so scared of. Fifi's not exactly that big, but that was about it. So in the end, Happiness Patrol's
not extreme amount to talk to, but
it's still pretty good. It's a little forgettable, but not really forgettable, because like most what people remember is like the Candyman or like the weirdness or but I remember.
And again, the Candyman and the weirdness really are not a huge focus when you actually watch the actual episodes anyway.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Yep, let's move on.
Okay. So the third serial of the 25th season is Silver Nemesis.
And now we apologize. The images for the Silver Nemesis are going to be a lot more blurry than the other ones. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, Silver Nemesis was technically the 25th anniversary episode to the show.
It was originally going to be the last season in the serial, but wasn't it because of the Olympics they couldn't?
Originally, this was supposed to be the season finale, but because of some, it was the Olympics or some kind of, I think it was that sporting event, it got messed up, so they had to rearrange the scheduling of airing all the episodes so they could air this on the anniversary. But anyway, so People really hate these episodes, and I have no idea why.
People who like them.
There's some,
hates them.
but
Then there, of course, are the people who don't like this episode.
Yeah,
and
for no
why?
reason.
Honestly,
I have no idea.
I honestly don't really know why. These episodes are fine.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with
really
them.
not. Or like I can understand kind of why you wouldn't like the Happiness Patrol or like Time the Ronnie, and especially Ghostlight in the next season. This will really like come on. This is the one you're gonna choose to hate on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's it about? Well, you've actually read the novelization
Yes,
for this
sure.
one. So
There's this asteroid of this matter material called Linium, which is a living metal created by the Time Lords on Gallifrey, and it crashed onto Earth many years ago in the 1500s. Of this evil woman named Lady Pinefort found some and forged it into a statue that looks like her. And Sylvester
told her all the secrets about Sylvester.
Yeah, and then Sylvester sent the statue back up into space to get rid of it because he didn't want to.
But it orbits around Earth every 25 years, right?
Yes. So now it's coming back to Earth in 1988, and so Lady Pinefort and her assistant Richard, there's one or two problems with this serial, and that'd be they don't really explain some things. For example, they create this just potion that can allow them to travel through time.
I'm not really sure how that works.
No.
But, yeah.
Until they come to 1988, and then there's this group of neo-Nazis. They also want the Nemesis.
They can create the Fourth Reich.
Yeah.
Also, there's more anti-racist message in these episodes, which are a good side message, I'd say, for these episodes.
Yeah. So everybody wants the statues, and then of course the Cybermen
also want it to use for their hidden cyber fleet.
Yeah, the cyber.
Create Earth into New Mondas, right?
Yeah, they don't really mention that until the end, but that's what they want to do. And so they go around and they do a bit of fighting, which is pretty good. The action
in these episodes is pretty good. The onset explosion, the effects. However, the Cybermen guns, instead of having like a blue effect like they did in previous episodes,
spark
they just have spark.
I don't know why they just go down.
The gun effects for the neo-Nazis aren't the greatest either,
No.
and then there is the infamous scream.
Sound. Here, listen. You know that scream, I hope. But that plays twice during the battle. Which,
yeah.
That's...
I don't really know where they got that, just from some archive, but they decided to play it twice during the battle.
Yeah.
It does not really sound like a real human being when they're being murdered, but, you know, just one of the small flaws of the episode.
Yeah.
Not enough to make you hate the episode. And then, another thing, this is when it starts to build up to the Curse of Fenric, with Sylvester starts playing chess, and we don't actually know who he's playing chess with, but it does reveal that it's Fenric.
Yes.
How he's playing chess with him never really says. Another thing it doesn't really explain, but it does kind of help to build suspicion and suspense at the end of the season. They go to some castles, which is nice, some on-set locations.
This episode, almost everything in this whole episode is filmed on location, which is so much more high quality than Old Man or Tom Baker. They're just filming everything in studios. They actually almost everything in this whole serial is filmed on set. When they get to the ending, when they're in that big building, I
believe it is a old rocket holding place.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because in the book it's at this housing development. But anywho, so there's this one part where Ace gets up on top of the big she's right at the top of the building walking along this really rusty thin walkway, and they're actually up there on set.
They're actually all the way up there, like 100 feet up in the air.
Yeah, if they were to fall, they could have died.
Didn't they tell Sophie Alger, the woman who plays Ace, it'd only be like 10 feet high?
Yes, they only told her it'd be like 10 feet, but obviously that didn't happen.
That was a lie. And so,
Simon, Cyber Leader's in this episode. He's
his greatest appearance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's also his last appearance, unless you count. What about the Dimensions in Time? He's any in that?
He doesn't have any lines, but he's there when there's a Cyberman with all the other villains. There is a Cyber Leader. We don't know if it's him or not, but he's not. I don't think it's played by David Banks though, which is sad.
Yeah, David Banks, the guy who plays
the Cyber Leader
throughout the 80s, and he's got a book, doesn't he?
Yes, I want to read it, but I want to wait until we watch the rest of Class Talk 2 too, though.
What's it called?
Cyberman.
Oh wow, when was it written?
I don't know, the 80s and 90s, I think. This is getting a little off context. But anywho, so eventually everybody gets to the rocket place. And so everyone gets there, and In the end, Sylvester, using his manipulative, thinking ahead skills, tricks everyone into killing each other off. The Cyber Leader kills the Nazis, and then
they send the statue up to the Cyber Fleet, and Sylvester tricks the Cyber Leader that he's going to work with him instead of working with Lady Painport. But the statue chooses to destroy the Cyber Fleet instead of working with the Cybermen. So, yeah. Some more. Sylvester does just kind of massacre all the Cybermen and the cyber ships.
And that kind of just blows over.
And
then Richard kills Cyber, and it's a happy ending. But also another thing about these episodes is Ace kills quite a few Cybermen as well, which showing how
it's a different type of character for Ace. Ace is willing to get her hands dirty. Well. Not a lot of the assistants seem to either really get their hands dirty or not.
Yeah, like Ian, for example.
Ian, Jamie, they both
they do killing. They kill the time, but then I don't know, Clara.
I don't think she ever kills anyone. I'm not saying you have to kill to be a good character. It was just interesting how it's a different perspective on how to do an assistant. These assistants...
Instead of having the girly assistant who just walks around and just looks at and screams at things, instead we have assistant who
Kind of Mel.
We have an assistant who is willing to be involved in a thing.
Yeah, but then the modern assistants Rose and Martha are willing to be involved in things, but then they never actually Rose does shoot some Daleks.
Martha fries the pig people, the pig slaves.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, whatever. An assistant doesn't have to kill to be good. It's just showing a different type of assistant, I suppose. And it shows... I'm not sure if they do that in modern Doctor Who, have just in a companion, an assistant just pull out a gun, just, shoot, 5 people in, one scene. When Ace just, she kills, all the Cybermen for a single shot. I don't know if they do that in modern Doctor Who.
No, I don't think they
Definitely not Jodie Whittaker, but...
No. But, so, that's one of the high points of the episode.
Then there's the skinheads.
Yeah, the skinheads show at one point, which is, the modern-day Nazis. Again, showing, the anti-racist message and...
It builds some... It kind of backs on the neo-Nazis a little, there's...
Yeah.
Even the Cybermen are kind of Nazis, trying to perfect themselves, make them, upgrade. They don't use the term upgrade back then, but
modify themselves.
Yeah, each
again,
term.
Building on dynamic themes and messages that the old man never had.
They're not. The themes are not huge.
Yeah, but they're there. They're subtle messages.
At least they're there.
Yeah.
And what old man First Doctor episodes I've seen haven't really been any messages.
No.
And what Trotton episodes I've seen, not really either. And what Tom Baker's I've seen, not really.
No.
I haven't seen a single Peter Davison, so
no.
couldn't tell you there.
But anyway,
the music in the episode is also very good. Kev McCallick.
It's Kev, so it's automatically good.
Unfortunately, Kev doesn't do the next serial, and that's one of the major problems with the next serial.
The effects, like we said, for the guns are terrible. The cyber ship is okay, but when it's flying over the trees, they just put the image over a helicopter, and at one point you can see the helicopter blade coming through the cyber ship, so that's a little bad. And the gun effects aren't, but the onset explosions are good.
Yeah, the onset explosions are good.
Yeah.
Again, it looks good visually most of the time, and I feel like even though it was on a very low budget, I think they made it work very well.
Yeah, that unlike with Tom Baker or Old Man.
I think it's more obvious that they're low budget than this.
Someone were to tell me this show has a low budget, I couldn't really tell.
I honestly would kind of believe them, but I
on set filming,
explosions,
effects, music, that. Really, this was low budget. So anywho, in the end, Silver Nemesis is a really good episode.
Pretty good. Probably what made you think it's the best serial this season?
Probably.
Yeah, probably the best.
Yeah.
The Psychic Circus is pretty good. However, the last episode gets a bit wonky, and the music is horrible. Abysmal.
And we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Yep, right now, actually.
Okay, so this is the last serial of the 25th season, which is The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Now, remember, originally the season finale was supposed to be Silver Nemesis, but in a way, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy can still work as the last serial because of how strange it is.
Yeah, but the last episode isn't the greatest.
Yeah, it kind of
the
falls
music
apart.
is disgusting.
Yeah, we're just going to say right now.
There's rapping. The Ringmaster raps.
He has a rap every episode.
And as much as we'd love to show them, we'd get copyrighted and taken down if we did. So,
Yeah, but he does rap, and those are pretty good. But the
Yeah.
rest of the music is horrible. Like, it literally, this is Mark Iries' first episode, and it literally sounds horrible. It's bland, it's repetitive,
It's the same
terrible.
like tune.
It's
the
terrible.
whole time.
We'll talk a bit more about the music, like I actually do like a segment about it in the last part. But for now, we're just going to tell you that's one of the main flaws of this episode is the music is
Pretty
horrible.
bad. We haven't really talked about Ace and Sylvester's relationship in this season. I honestly would say their relationship is pretty neutral.
They get along in this
They get
season,
along.
also.
However, in the next season is when I think their relationship actually starts to have some chemistry.
Yeah.
Now, this serial, if it's not obvious enough, is about a circus, the Psychic Circus, the greatest show in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And people come from far and wide to try to be in the show.
And participate. It's like a big talent show, pretty much.
Kind of.
And
But it's evil, of course, as in everything that in Doctor Who, and
Yeah.
so Ace and Sylvester have to come in and shut it down, and there's some on-set shooting.
filming. They film
on
all
location.
They film all the stuff for outside the tent on screen. Excuse me. They film all the stuff for outside the tent on location, and then when they are inside the tent, when they're filming, they actually are inside a tent because they had to shut down filming. I think it was because of some kind of like disease hit everyone in like the office building when they were filming, or something hit the studio or they were filming the inside scenes, so they had to film them all in an actual tent in the parking lot. So that makes it better, I guess. I mean, if they show about going to do a tent, I guess
You may as well just do a 10. I don't really know what
Yeah.
else you would really do. There's no way you can really make it look any better than just being a 10.
Yeah.
So, the episode, there's 4 parts. Honestly, maybe it probably could have been 3, but it doesn't work as good in the 4-part format as the
Paradise Towers.
or Remember of the Daleks, but that's alright.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Paradise Towers, Stephen Wyatt, he wrote this episode just like he wrote Paradise Towers.
Yeah, so
High points to the episode. The acting's all good, I guess. Sounds location's
the effects
good.
are pretty good.
The effects are pretty good. They actually do kind of have laser effects in this episode, but they look horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do actually have some, like, what's the word? Like, jugglers, acrobats they get in this outfit to
that's
be in the
pretty
clown
high
robot
quality.
costumes. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if these episodes really scared children when they came out because of the clowns, but
Yeah. Some effects are not as good for.
there's this part where, do you know what his name is?
I forget. I'm so sorry. Grog. Something strange.
Something like that. He's driving up in his vehicle, and he drives up to the tent, and it's literally, I bet you that's how they did it. They drug his little car up to the tent with a mouse. And when I first saw it, it was kind of hilarious how bad it was.
Yeah, the effect. But that's one of the lower points, per se.
And so, Sylvester and Ace, of course, they can't go to the circus alone. They meet some friends. They meet Mags and
The Captain Cook, he's evil.
Captain Cook, of course, is evil. He wants to
When they get captured in the circus, he just is
survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
like,
so he tricks everyone into
he
going
tricks
out.
the poor whiz kid. I'm not really sure who the whiz kid is.
He just shows up out of nowhere. Like we said, these episodes are kind of weird. The whiz kid just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like the Greatest Show in the Galaxy's biggest fan, so of course he wants to go out in the arena, and Captain Cook tricks him to going out.
And he gets killed.
He tries to trick Sylvester and Mags, but they escape, and they find this well, this eye in the bottom. They don't really explain. There's some parts that are a little confusing. They don't explain as much. For example, in the last episode, Sylvester manages to travel to this alternate dimension where there are 3 gods of Ragnarok, which are controlling the circus. I don't really know how he gets to this alternate dimension, or how this alternate dimension connects to that, or how the eye connects to that.
Yeah.
Because they throw Sylvester the necklace with the eye on it, and they throw him the sword, and they all both just pop up to the ground, and he just grabs onto them. I don't really know how that works. They never really say.
Yeah.
The last episode kind of falls apart.
Yeah, the last episode where we build up all this stuff in the first 3 episodes with, they get to the circus, they meet all the characters, they have to survive being eliminated. They find
Kingpin?
Kingpin. They find Kingpin. They take him back. He tried to escape.
But the gods, they got him. I think he managed to get in somehow to the alternate dimension too, and that made him go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple things they don't really explain, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty good.
Chief of the Clown.
He's really good.
He's pretty memorable. I don't know why. He's kind of more memorable than the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been, in my opinion, a little more interesting if the circus was just evil and it wasn't controlled by the gods. Because then when they incorporated the gods of Ragnarok, it kind of started to fall apart, in my opinion. If it was just an evil circus, I think that could have been a lot easier.
But the fact that there's like a temporal, like a 2 dimensions and like all that stuff.
I don't really cover it and explain it that very well.
Yeah.
There are these rocks that like are in both dimensions and kind of like are like the portal and hold together, but then again they don't really say, or I didn't pay attention enough. But it has been a little while since we watched.
So in the end, Sylvester manages to. I don't really know how he just defeats the gods and everything kind of just falls apart, and then the circus explodes and that's about it. And then Kingpin and Mags go off to start their own circus. The ringmaster.
Didn't the guy who played Kingpin actually originally audition for the role of the Seventh Doctor?
Yes, and everyone thought he would get it, but Sylvester got it.
Oh.
Yeah. But anywho, in the end, Raiders of the Galaxy, they're good episodes. The music is horrible, but however, it does kind of start to fall apart.
The acting's pretty good. It's interesting how they tried to include different things, such as like rapping. The raps worked, but they're a bit kind of weird and random.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't hold it against it saying, ew, rapping, weird, cringy, Doctor Who stuff. Weird.
Yeah.
No, I think it's interesting.
It's outlandish. They're trying something new. They're trying to be different. They're trying to reach and appeal to the time.
Did some of it work? Yes, some of it did. Did all of it work? No, not really.
But at least they tried.
At least they tried. It's better than just using the same bland format.
Which is what they did for pretty much all of Doctor Who until this point.
And like, there's the eyes, the all-seeing eyes. These episodes, they're connected to the gods, aren't they?
Yeah.
But honestly, it doesn't really explain really how or what.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I bet if we read the novelization of this one, it may explain a little more. But
we haven't read that yet. Don't hold that against us. So in the end, it's a good episode. They just don't really explain as much, but of course they explain more than they explain in every
Sylvester doesn't have a lot of development in this episode. Neither does Ace. But
it's kind of just like not every episode do the characters undergo development. Some they do, but this is just one more of the episodes where they're kind of just like here.
Yeah, honestly, they undergo more development in the Silver Nemesis than in this one. Honestly, think about it, the Silver Nemesis probably would have made a better finishing offer for the season. But then again, this is alright.
Yeah.
But then again, Sylvester and Ace will undergo a lot more character development in the next season. So overall, alright episodes. The last one, not the greatest. No, not at all. But the first three are alright. Unfortunately, they don't explain a lot. But again, in a lot of classic Doctor Who episodes, they don't really explain it that well either. So
yeah, it's not fair how people don't hold that against Tom Baker, but they hold that against Sylvester.
Yeah. So overall, alright episodes. Are they as good as the Silver Nemesis? No. Are they the worst of the season? No. But then again, are the best? No. So I guess now we can come back, sum it up, and then end the video.
Yeah. So that was the second 7th Doctor season of Classic Doctor Who, and why it's, one of the greatest.
Honestly, I think it's better than the first season.
Yeah.
The stories, I don't know, I wouldn't say they're more interesting, I just found it better, I don't know why. The first season was still pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Though, we talked about Sylvester's development in the beginning, so it really covered again here, because he may still have a little development in this season, but what we're really going to have to talk about is their development in the next season.
Yeah, they do go through a lot more character development in that one, which is, again, character development is something that most Doctor Who completely lacks, along with good pacing, storytelling, effects, kind of.
The effects aren't the greatest in the next season either, and basically all the episodes are pretty decent in the next season besides Ghostlight.
Yeah.
Ghostlight, I would say, is the only bad Sylvester Seal, just flat out, just kind of bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Idiot's Lantern or 11 Monsters of Tenet. You know what I mean? Like how there's just that episode that's just wham, it's just so bad. Well, these are just so bad. They don't make sense, and they don't really try to make it sense.
Yeah, let's talk about it then, though. Besides, most of Sylvester McCoy episodes make sense, and that's why Sylvester McCoy episodes are the best of Classic Doctor Who.
Besides the last episode, we just went over with,
Yes.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe to please let me notify you. Do not notify us, and anyone to comment in the comment section below. This video and other YouTubers telling us to subscribe. We cannot subscribe back to you. Subscribe us. They don't tell us who we are, so we can't subscribe to them.
No hateful comments, please.
Yeah, have a good day.